Good day, everyone. We are here to discuss to you the lesson 6, which is the physical self. So first, what is physical self? Physical self is the individual's perception of themselves towards the areas of their physical ability and appearance. Before we proceed, please let us introduce ourselves.
I am Ronajoy O. Cantal.
I am Jean Brian D. Sopapo.
And I am Marina Lee Julsonier, and we are the reporters of the lesson 6, which is the physical self. So at the end of the lesson, the students must have first, understood the transfer of characteristic which is essential to the development of the physical self. Second, appreciated the physical characteristics acquired from parents. Third, examined one's self as impacted by the physical appearance. Fourth, discussed the effect of body image in self-esteem. Fifth, give importance and a positive attitude on the development of self-esteem. And lastly, make a plan of the activity on how to improve body image and self-esteem.
Two factors in the development of the physical self. Do you have any idea about what are the two factors in the development of the physical self? Well, today we are going to discuss about the two factors in the development of the physical self, which is the heredity and environment. Heredity. When we talk about heredity or nature, it is the transmission of traits or characteristics from parents to offspring. It provides the raw materials of which the individual is made up. Through the genes, hereditary potentials like physical, mental, social, emotional, and moral traits are passed down to generations. Environment. When we talk about environment or nurture, it is the sum total of the forces or experiences that a person undergoes from conception to old age. It also includes family, friends, school, nutrition, and other agencies one is in contact with. After identifying the two factors in the development of the physical self, we should move on to our next topic, which is the beginning of life. Life begins at fertilization. Fertilization refers to the meeting of the female sex cell and the male sex cell. The sex cells are developed in the reproductive organs called gonads. The male sex cell, called spermatozoa, is produced in the male gonads called testes. On the other hand, the female sex cells, called ova, are produced in the female gonads known as ovaries. The fertilized egg cell, known as zygote, contains all the hereditary potentials from the parents. The zygote goes to the uterus and grows for 280 days or 36 weeks. Both male and female chromosomes contain several thousands of genes, which are the true carrier of hereditary characteristics of the parents. Within the gene is a substance called deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, which is the code of heredity. It contains information and instruction about the newly created organism and programs the traits that should be inherited. At the instant of fertilization, your baby genes and sex are set. If the sperm has a Y chromosome, your baby will be a boy. If it has an X chromosome, the baby will be a girl. The fertilized egg stays in the fallopian tube for about 3 to 4 days, but within 24 hours of being fertilized, it starts dividing fast into many cells. It keeps dividing as it moves slowly through the fallopian tube to the uterus. Its next job is to attach the lining of uterus. This is called implantation. Within 3 weeks, the cells begin to grow as clumps and the baby's first nerve cell have already formed. Maturation is the unfolding of the inherent traits. It is a process by which we change, grow, and develop throughout life. Now we have learned about the beginning of life. But for a moment, let me show you an illustration. What have you observed upon viewing the illustration? A As what you have noticed, it is a development process of a baby over the time interval of 1 to 38 weeks. Moving on into the next topic, which is the stages in the lifespan. Stages in the lifespan is composed of 10 stages. For clarification, let me show you a table. The table has been divided into development stage and age. Prenatal period, conception to birth. Infancy, birth to the end of the second week. Babyhood, end of the second week to the end of the second year. Early childhood or preschool age, 2 to 6 years. Late childhood or elementary age, 6 to 10 or 12 years. Puberty or pre-adolescence, 12 to 13 or 14 years. Adolescence, 13 or 14 to 18 years. Early adulthood, 18 to 40 years. Middle age or middle adulthood, 40 to 60 years. Old age or senescence, 60 years to death.
Now let's proceed to the abstraction of body image. What is body image? Body image is based on your thoughts and feelings about the way your body looks. Sometimes the way you think other people are judging your appearance can affect your body image. Poor body image comes from negative thoughts and feelings about your appearance, and a healthy body image is made up of thoughts and feelings that are positive. Body image is a major factor in self-esteem, which is the way you think and feel about yourself as a person. The effects of body image on self-esteem can be especially powerful during the teenage years. Although it's perfectly normal to have negative thoughts and feelings towards yourself once in a while, finding ways to be positive is the key to building a healthy body image and positive self-esteem. Body image is determined by 4 factors. First, how you see your body is your perceptual body image. This is not always a correct representation of how you actually look. For example, a person may perceive themselves as overweight when they are actually underweight. Second, the way you feel about your body is your affective body image. This relates to the amount of satisfaction or dissatisfaction you feel about your shape, weight, and individual body parts. Third, the way you think about your body is your cognitive body image. This can lead to preoccupation with body shape and weight. And lastly, behaviors in which you engage as a result of your body image encompass your behavioral body image. When a person is dissatisfied with the way he or she looks, they may isolate themselves because they feel bad about their own appearance. Self-esteem relates to how much you like yourself and how you recognize or appreciate your individual character, qualities, skills, and accomplishments. People with low self-esteem may not always feel confident about themselves or how they look. It is often hard for them to see that they are an important and capable person. People with good self-esteem often have a positive and confident attitude about their body and mind and can recognize their strengths as well as personal values and worth. A high self-esteem is correlated with healthy social relationships, being emotionally and socially adjusted, cheerfulness, and overall happiness. On the other hand, a low self-esteem is associated with negative outcomes like depression, anxiety, antisocial behavior, and poor personal adjustment. Kids have a bigger role in developing their own self-esteem. Working hard to finish a project or assignment, getting a higher grade on a math test, or trying out for a new sport are all things kids can be proud of for trying. Some kids are not very athletic, but they might be good readers or know how to do magic tricks or are really good friends to help other people out. These are all accomplishments that help kids feel good about themselves. A kid's family and other people in his or her life like coaches, teachers, and classmates also can boost self-esteem. They can help a kid figure out how to do things or notice his or her good qualities. They can believe in that kid and encourage him or her to try again when something doesn't go right the first time. It's all part of kids learning to see themselves in a positive way, to feel proud of what they've done, and to be confident that there's a lot more they can do.
Importance of good self-esteem. Good self-esteem is important for everyone because it helps you keep a positive outlook on life and makes you feel proud of the person you are, both inside and out. Most teens with good self-esteem find life much more enjoyable. They tend to have better relationships with peers and adults, find it easier to deal with mistakes or disappointments, and are more likely to stick with the task until they succeed. Good self-esteem influences the decision-making, relationships, emotional health, and overall well-being. It also has an impact on motivation because people who have a healthy positive self-image understand their potential and may be inspired to take on new challenges. Good self-esteem gives you the courage to try new things, power to believe in yourself, and confidence to make healthy choices for your mind and body now and throughout your life. Okay, so here are a few other things that you can try to increase your self-esteem. First, make a list of the stuff you're good at. As an individual who wanted to have a good self-esteem, it is his or her responsibility to know what they are good at as much as it is to know what you need to work on. It can be anything from drawing or singing to playing a sport or telling a good joke. If you're having a trouble with your list, ask your mom or dad to help you with it. Then add a few other things to the list that you'd like to be good at. Your mom or dad can help you plan a way to work on those skills or talents. Second, give yourself 3 compliments every day. Don't just say, "I'm so great." Be specific about something good about yourself like, "I was a good friend to Jill today," or "I did better on that test than I thought I would." While you're at it, before you go to bed every night, list 3 things in your day that really made you happy or that you feel thankful for. When you give support and compliment yourself every day, you unlock another level of your confidence. When you change your within dialogue and focus on a positive one, you start to trust that you can reach a goal that you want in life. Remember that your body is your own, no matter what shape, size, or color it is. To love your body, you must first know your body. If you are worried about your weight or size, you can check with your doctor to make sure you're healthy. Remind yourself of things about your body that are cool, like "my legs are strong and I can skate really well." Once you familiarized your body, you are confident enough to know what it is trying to tell you. You will just amazed knowing that your body can do better or much easier to embrace and love by you. Remember that there are things about yourself you can change. You should accept and love these things such as skin color and shoe size because they are part of you. Sometimes it is hard to accept things that can lower our self-confidence, but always remember that we should embrace our own flaws because it is you. It is us. We are born with it, so we need to wholeheartedly accept our own identity and uniqueness. Lastly, when you hear negative comments in your head, tell yourself to stop. Remind yourself of things you're good at, and if you can think of anything, ask someone else. Negative comments you have in yourself limits your ability to believe in yourself and own abilities. It gives you an idea that diminishes your capacity to make a wonderful adjustments in your own lifestyle or your confidence to do so. So in order to avoid this negativity, try to replace it with something better which is more encouraging and can be a great way to develop a more positive way of thinking about yourself. So let's proceed to the ways to improve your body image. One of the best ways to feel good about your body is to work on a healthy one. Exercising and eating nutritious food are key to developing a strong and fit body and a positive attitude towards yourself. As we all know, body image is both a mental picture that we have in our body and the way we feel it when we look at the mirror. Ways on how to keep a positive attitude. First, focusing on your own unique qualities. So in order for you to keep a positive attitude, focusing on your own unique qualities even if you feel worthless can help you guide to do the things that best suited you, and also for you to see your worth, which can help you achieve a positive outlook on life. Next is focusing on your education. Learning gives you the power to make a difference in your life and in the lives of others. A positive attitude lets you focus and absorb the information as you learn, which enables you to fully welcome the new experiences and recognize the different kinds of opportunities in learning. And when opportunities arise, your hope increases. Another way to keep a positive attitude was participating in a variety of sports or activities. This can be a great way to stay healthy and fit. Taking part in any sports can help you to be a healthier and mentally strong person, not just to yourself but also to others. In this way, it can help you to stay motivated and avoid anxiety that can lead you to have a negative attitude. The next one is taking up a new hobby or learning to play an instrument. It can help you to find your hidden talent because being able to learn to play an instrument can make you feel proud and confident for yourself. That helps to keep your positive attitude. Through also playing an instrument can help yourself to stay calm and relaxed, and it can be a wonderful escape for you if you suffer from stress often in your life. Another one is setting and reaching goals. It will help you work through different challenges throughout your life. A positive mindset helps you to keep going. It enables you to look at the positives of all situations and helps you to visualize your goals, ultimately resulting it to reach them. And lastly, being an inspiration to others. If you thought of your own ways to cope with social situations and find confidence, you may find it rewarding to share advice and offer encouragement to others. Serve as an inspiration on shaping other people's attitude by having a positive attitude on yourself. Encourage and support them against any negative experiences or reaction. Building a healthy body image and positive self-esteem can be hard work because it takes time to become confident. As you work to improve your body image, you will experience self-acceptance and learn to recognize the qualities, skills, and talents that make you special. So now, let us evaluate what you have learned from our discussion by answering these reflections. Number 1. What are the differences of your inherited characteristics from your mother to your inherited characteristics from your father? Number 2. How can you improve your body image and self-esteem? And lastly, how does the way you feel about your body affect the way you feel about yourself? Thank you for watching, and we hope that you have learned something from our discussion today.